Congratulations! You are at the right place at the right time to start your day with a lightning bolt of energy. If you're here, it's because morning talk shows and even most podcasts have you down in the dumps, depleted and yearning for more. I want more money. I want more time. I want more magic. I want to be told what to do. I want to find what works. I want to scale my business. I want to be provided with actionable inspiration. And if more is what you want, then get ready for the Unblinded Huddle, which is the #1 way to start your day with a dose of integrity-based human influence. With your hosts, Sean Callaghy, Fernando Valencia, Adam Gugino, Jared Yellen, and the entire Unblinded movement.
Good morning again to everybody. We have an amazing special guest out there today. Jared, do you have me? I just want to make sure I'm coming through.
You are clear.
Yeah, you are
as well.
Awesome. So we have an amazing guest for this morning. Fernando, we have you now?
Yes, I am here.
Okay, awesome. So apologize for that technical difficulty. We'll tighten that up, and we want to be tight and world-class. So Fernando, what is present for you, and who do we have this morning? I know who we have, but let's share that with the entire grouping.
Yes. So what I am present to is that every single morning we are accelerating on the number of members within our live ecosystem. By 8:31, we had over 150. And that's not including Facebook. So we're clear over 500 people from dozens of countries. And as Sean said, thank you, because you had a choice to be here and you've chosen to be at the best place to start your morning. So thank you. And as we jump into our guest, we have Rob Gill, AKA the Mayor of Money, who is an experienced financial professional with over 21 years in the industry. His main objective when sitting with individuals and business professionals is to provide value to the financial lives. Now that's the official script. The unofficial is that this man is a family man. He is absolutely hilarious. He is amazing friends with Sean, business partners with Sean. He has been a second dancer and such a rock in making this movement happen for over the last 24 months. Honored to call him a friend, honored to call him the Mayor of Money, and super grateful that he's here with us today. Sean, what would you like to add?
Yeah. Hey, I'd like to add, good morning, Rob Gill, brother. Love you. And how are you, sir?
Rob Gill is having some tech difficulties. He was here a second ago. There he is. Found him. There we go. Rob Gill, speak now, my man.
Yes.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
we got you, brother. Yes.
All right,
Rob Gill building yes momentum right off the bat. Rob, how are you this morning?
I'm doing well. How about yourself, Sean?
Hey, I'm doing amazing. So we're going to jump in fast and hit it hard, deep in our hearts and love, but I'm going to share this. Rob Gill has been such an inspiration to me. And what we mean by second dancer is Rob saw me speak about 2 years ago, and he just relentlessly followed up. And I was busy and had a lot of things going on, and I wasn't even getting back to him. And he's day after day after day commenting on videos and phone calls, and it's never stopped. And Rob has been such an indispensable part of launching all of this. It cannot possibly be overstated. I'm immensely grateful for Rob. And so Rob, welcome on this fun Friday. And final is, I don't know that I laugh more with anybody than Rob Gill. Maybe I can think of a couple people I laugh about the same, but Rob and I laugh together. So it's fun Friday, and having Rob on Friday, it's not just that he makes me laugh. He also takes care of financial issues for me and other issues, and I'm super grateful. But he also touches my heart, and we need fun energy. And Rob and I just giggle and laugh about stuff and love.
Sean, can you hear me?
Whoa. Yeah, I got you. Yep. Can you hear me, Rob?
Yep.
Yep. So, and Rob, is that person that we laugh at ourselves with. Guys, Jared, Fernando, help me. I'm not sure what's going on with the meeting ID numbers. Again, sorry, guys. We will have this tight as could be technically. We've been good all week. A couple of little glitches this morning. My apologies. So Rob is also, just such a deep part of everything that we're doing, because he believes and knows and understands. So let's dive right in with Rob Gill at this moment. So Rob, how'd you do it? You went from 8 to 25 sales meetings a month to 175. And by sales meetings, what we mean is a meeting where somebody could say yes or no to hire you for your services. So Rob went from 8 to 25 to 175 in a short period of time. Rob, how'd you do it?
All right, Sean, just thank you very much. Can you hear me okay? And it's not a yes momentum.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yes.
So the audio is going in and out on me, so I do apologize. But let me just dig into what I think you had said for the last 3 minutes, and I'll tie this real fast. I was, from the very beginning, it wasn't hard for me to be authentic and loving. And when I went to Tony Robbins in July of 2017 in Newark, I left there motivated, jumping up and down and wanting to hug everybody. Within a month and a half, I didn't know where I was. I was kind of back to where I was before that event. And Michael Falia had said to me, let's go to Rooney's Crab House. This was September 2017. There's going to be a bunch of chiropractors in the room. I go there, and lo and behold, I see you speak. And from the very moment that I saw you speak, like a lot of people in this huddle and a lot of people that have got to know you, I was in the mode of wanting to just be close to what I considered the light. And you were a living example of what I had learned in the Tony Robbins event a month and a half before that. I did not know at that point you were in the Tony Robbins world. I did not know that you were trained by Tony, but I remember thinking you were the real deal. It reminded me, because history doesn't repeat itself, but it does rhyme and it does have a cousin. It reminded me of Bob and Dan Hurley, who I was fortunate enough, for all the folks out there that understand basketball, to grow up with as a young kid. And I seen them, become not only Division I college coaches, which is what they are now. Their dad is the greatest high school coach in basketball history, and Bobby himself made it to the NBA. So I saw in you what I saw in them 30 years before that. I then began to try and build a relationship with you from September 2017 to January 2018. And then Mark Cadden brought us together at the first Practice Mastery event in Paramus. And that was where you and I connected. You then came to see me March of 2018 and invited me to speak on your Practice Mastery stage. For the next year, we developed a very good friendship. During that time, without knowing the formula, without studying the formula, but being in proximity to you, I went from 8 to 25 frictionless meetings a month. And it wasn't until March 1, 2, 3, first, second, third.
That cut out for a second. So you're saying is what Rob was saying. Just want to make sure. Hey, Rob?
Yes.
Just real quick.
Yes.
So you cut out for a split second. What Rob said is, and this is a critical distinction for everybody, that when he was just like galvanized around the energy, and he was speaking on the stages I was creating in events I was running called Practice Mastery for healthcare providers, he went from 8 to 25 meetings a month, tripled his monthly meetings. But he wasn't a student of the formula yet. I mean, he's hearing it, but he wasn't studying it and applying it. And that's where we are right now. So then what happens from there, Rob?
Yes, I wasn't a student. It would be like if you were playing sports out in the playground without any fundamentals. And they went from 8 to 25 frictionless meetings. I want to stress that. So March 1, 2, 3 of 2019, roughly a year ago right now, Sean had done a 3-day beta test, and my Epic team was there. Klaus was there, as well as Eddie Gartner, as well as Dave Harder. And it was a good little liftoff. Pat Weeks was there as well. And watching that 3 days reminded me of what I was missing. That immersion was so important to me. It really kind of changed everything. And within a week, legendary mastermind took place out in LA. And this brought the relationship of Rob Gill, Chris Crone, and Sean Callaghy together because of Sean's ecosystem merger world-class ability. And that's when we started to go from 25 over the next 90 to 120 days to 150 meetings a month. And still, at this point, I was half speed in the training of Unblinded. I knew some of it. I couldn't get the indispensable elements down. I was struggling on how to, I was never the greatest student, so I was having a hard time with the indispensable elements and the way it was being laid out to me. It just wasn't landing. I inherently knew the tools of persuasive communication, which is kind of born in some of the indispensable elements, but I really struggled mightily with that until October. And Fernando at this point was well on the scene and doing a tremendous job at just, promoting everything that was going on. But he was able to grasp the language of Unblinded or of the Callaghy results formula better than anyone except for Michael Smikin, in my mind, at that point, because Michael Smikin was the greatest student. So as Fernando came on the scene, we were in Sean's house in October, and lo and behold, Darcy Weber, love you, Darcy, hope you're listening, comes up. For me, this was good for Rob Gill. I can only speak for Rob Gill, but it enabled me to start training my team at Epic, Kelly, John, and DJ, and everybody else in the office on how to do the formula the way I saw it and the way it was working with me. And it was smaller QVC. That was a big deal for me. And even because it's about loving everyone, I even went with L smaller QVCs to start with loving everyone first. And I think from that point on, there's been like just a massive mega learning curve, because now as I'm training folks and really understanding the formula itself, what happens is it gets into my nervous system even stronger. And for me, understanding when I'm in and out of the formula is no different than if I missed a jump shot, I knew that I missed it because my elbow was out, not in, and I didn't use my legs. So these are the correlations that I use in my world.
No, Rob, it's amazing. And I can't express enough for each of you out there, when you're working with people, communicating with people, and you find people of a like mind that want to learn, grow, and run together, which I found in Rob, in Fernando, in Adam, in Jared, and so many of the folks that are on this line right now. It's like this incredible place. And I've been attempting to replicate what occurred for me in high school athletics for my entire life. And I very much did in Calugi Law and having Calugi Law. And then I want to scale it to bring it to the world. And this is like what we have in the ecosystem right now feels like that. So it's like peak performance, it's acceleration. So of course, even if you're not an athlete growing up, but you were in theater or you were playing a musical instrument, it's that dynamic of camaraderie. Like my youngest daughter is in theater, and I see the love, the passion, the connection, the intensity that she has with the people that she does theater with. And it's the exact same correlation. It's like a community of people that are not just like-minded, like in a commune, 1969 summer of love kind of way. And I don't mock that. Like, it's beautiful to like love people, but it's also beautiful to love people and like disrupt fear and distortion, disrupt apathy, disrupt status quo, and be engaged in massive acceleration from a place of love. That's what Unblinded is, and that's what Rob Gill is, and that's what our relationship was founded on. So, brother, 8 to 175 meetings. Your team is creating massive acceleration. I think Rob's having a little bit of difficulty hearing, perhaps. But yeah, Rob, I've just been saying you're amazing and incredible. Thank you. So second category is, what is your formula? So that's your process. You've used stages and microphones. You've spoken on stages with me. You've improved your public speaking abilities massively, and you continue to. You're on YouTube videos with Chris Crone, other people in the medical healthcare space. You're funding stages and microphones. You've lived the formula to massive acceleration and continuing it, right? As is your team now. People like Dave Harder, who's like, oh my God, hugging me, crying at an event recently. And I mean that with my heart. I don't mean like kind of crying, it was emotional for me, talking about how massively things have accelerated for him as well, which is, I can't thank Dave enough for that. So how do you though, forgetting your process, how do you go from hello to yes to people? Just quick, tight 30 seconds. How do you go from hello to yes to people?
Yeah, so what really elevated myself to be able to do this, and when I began to train my team, I was always good at the rapport building, which is the 5 questions. Where have you been?
Actually, let me cut you off, Rob. I apologize for this. Rob is making, at certain stages of his career, $1 million a year. So this is not, and he opened 3,000 accounts over the telephone on Wall Street, decades ago. So the point of this is saying that Rob was already a very successful person when he came to the formula and came to the Unblinded technology. That was present for him already. Because I think sometimes people listen yeah, I know how to sell. And Rob had some yeah, I know how to sell. And He's created massive acceleration in what he already had as great mastery. So Rob, what is your formula?
Yeah, so I was very good. Before you and I met, I was good at the 6. We often joke about Cialdini's book about the tools of persuasion, which was commitment and consistency. Another conversation: reciprocity, scarcity, liking, social proof, and authority. And if you embed those into a presentation, you could get results. What I was not good at was integrity-based human influence, which is where, when I look at the rapport build and the 5, the questions: where have you been, where are you now, where you're going, deep listening, of course, access points all over the place. Most importantly, what are your strengths and victories? And what I never understood from a I understood it inherently, but I didn't understand it mechanically and scientifically, was when you get to the point of what are your biggest challenges, and in that space of deep listening, and I only understood this when I started training my team, deep listening, where it leads to the access of, creating the painful question with integrity. So the good folks that you're speaking with on the other side can really break through some of their limiting beliefs through the information that you could share with them. And it's in that space, that small distinction, that you go from maybe 5th place to 3rd place in the Olympics, right? Where you're in the top 3. And I believe in that space is where you go from 99.9 to 99.99 for everybody that's out there. The deep listening of not wanting to be heard, but listening was a major distinction. I look at my team, 2 of my young kids, which is Alex Lynch and DJ Wright, who grew up with me in Bayonne. His dad was one of my best friends growing up. And Alex Lynch, who comes from a celebrity status background of being around high achievers, when she began to get this, her phone meetings and her ability to move people along the needle have gone exceptionally well, just like Kelly Cole. Kelly is a genius in the space of listening for an hour and a half and really taking good notes and creating plans. And it's all because of this formula. It's not because of me. It's because I was able to use this language and train and transfer this information to my team. And I see it in Eddie, and I see it in John Spring, and I see it in Klaus, which there's a whole big thing going on there. And just a lot of good things. So for me, it's about obviously the rapport into the pain, which leads to the unique heroic identity. And Kevin Rosa on my team said, Rob, I don't have a unique heroic identity. And I said, yes, you do. You're a financial freedom fighter that's connected to Epic, and Epic is out there sharing their experience, strength, and hope and education with folks, so they know that they can make sober investment decisions, especially when winter's upon us. So these are the conversations that we have behind the scenes.
Yeah, and just dropping a couple quick access points. So Rob's referring to incredible teammates he has at Epic. And I look at somebody like Kelly, and we had some time together on a stage out in Chris Crone's event with Kelly, who is a beautiful and incredible soul. And it was a difficult moment. I was like in heavy confront disruption with Kelly in front of like 500 people or 400 people. And some people came up to her like, whoa, like, Sean was hard on you. And like, I'm sorry. And here's the deal. We confuse, this is for everybody, we confuse coaching in the acceleration of our communication with something that is connected to our personhood. And Rob even had some of that in the beginning. Most people do. How you go from hello to yes is not innate. It is not a part of your person. It's not like saying, hey, you know what? I don't like your nose. That's not what we're saying. It's like, hey, you know what? Your jump shot, as Rob said, or your tennis swing, or the way you're hitting these keys together on the piano, there's a distinction that can make you twice, 5x, or 10x, or 50x, 100x more effective. Can I show you? We did it with Courtney Epps yesterday. Courtney's dropping the mic. She's crushing it. And she was very suboptimal in emotional rapport building at the beginning of the call. At the end, she was like, yeah, like, wow, like, what would that do on the back end for some of the challenges we're having with people? So the point first is our openness and Rob's coachability. Like from the beginning, there were some wrinkles. Like Rob was like a great player that came to the team. Like, yeah, I got it, coach. Just like, let me run the offense. Right. And it was like, yeah, you got a lot. You're a great 3-point shooter. You're a great dribbler. But brother, your defense and the way you're using your feet on defense, 1 out of 5 times somebody's going around you that shouldn't. Yeah, but I'm still a great player. Like, I know you're a great player, but that dude is taking your ass off the dribble, and he shouldn't be. Right. And Rob's laughing because he knows exactly what's true. Right. Same thing in a different space. If you're an amazing violinist, it's like, that's a beautiful job that you're doing there. My incredible violinist. But if you do this slightly differently, you go from being the number 1 player in your state to playing at Carnegie Hall. Now you could stay as number 1 in your state, or you want to go to Carnegie Hall. And what that translates to in sales, everybody's listening out there, and your marketing, quality sales meetings and marketing meetings is, that translates to making $300,000 or $800,000. $300,000 or $2 million. That's what we're talking about. What that translates into is the difference between contributing money to save kids from sex trafficking, or helping inner city kids get uniforms for a team, or having 10 extra hours a week to go speak for free in schools of poor kids, or whatever it is on your heart. Or my cousin Lauren went to Ethiopia and has adopted two babies from Ethiopia 2 different times. Like, that's the differential. Not just the dollars, it's the time, freedom, and magic that it creates. So Rob, with all that said, brother, and we are gonna break it out in the 1 hour with Rob. That raw real Rob Gill is gonna be drop the mic, and I cannot wait to be raw real Rob Gill, right? So I'm gonna tighten this up and bring it home. Rob, what's your biggest challenge right now in your marketing and sales? Biggest challenge.
The biggest challenges with these opportunities, because of the way we positioned our relationships, is being able to scale this systematically, and from a team standpoint, being able to scale it systematically and bring on more people that can handle the amount of business that's starting to come our way. Point is, Klaus Bartram with the City of Bayonne, Klaus specializes in voluntary benefits. That's his space, and he's a genius in that space. And that's, you know, if you have an employer and you get your paycheck every month and they take $5 or $7 out for your disability or for your group life insurance, that's what he does. And we have the City of Bayonne now as a client, and we brought this other gentleman in, Adam Maggio, who, by the way, has a partnership with Ed Milet. Very interesting dynamic there. And Adam is a genius, and not in a call center per se, but a inbound center specific to licensed people that enroll folks in this space. So you have to have a license, and then you have to receive the phone call when people opt into their health insurance. The point is, we've just created an 800-person bucket for a 30-day window where these calls will be coming in. How do we scale that, and how do we bring on more planners to handle that business once the good folks at Bayonne are covered from a standpoint of their voluntary benefits? So that's a beautiful challenge that we have, and we've utilized, you know, the whole I don't want to say, I want to just call it really scientific approach on how to drive the traffic to the phones, where the phones are being picked up by people that need help. That's a unique thing that we've never had before.
Yeah, so it's incredible. So Rob's saying the same thing basically that Courtney said yesterday. My biggest challenge now is scaling and adding more teammates. So Rob's got a bunch of teammates, but it's scaling and adding even more teammates, which is something, Rob, and everybody, that most people would dream about having that be their current biggest challenge. So Rob, that is fantastic. And now we're going to test you. So Rob's going to get tested. And we want to grade him and give him feedback in the chat. Like, grade him, give him feedback, sharpening your listening, right? Frando, sharpening listening, right? So Rob, 30 seconds, right? Hard 30. Why should somebody do business with Rob Gill?
Well, thank you for that, Sean. So I grew up blue collar. My dad worked 3 jobs to just put me through high school. And the thing that always stood out the most to me is the love that my parents had. And at the same time, Dad's top drawer. And there would be months and months of lotto tickets in there. And as I got older, I said to myself, imagine if you didn't play the lotto and we invested that money, what that money would be worth. So I always remember that there was a financial insecurity everywhere in our house. And as a result of that, it led me to want to serve and educate and really understand money as best as I possibly could. And this was early on in my career. And I began to really ask myself proper questions. I was very persistent, and Sean, you know that, loving and authentic. And I've positioned myself and my Epic team to work alongside some of the next wave of integrity-based human influencers, not only in the space of legal, financial accounting, world-class peak performance breakthrough experts, as well as having trained specifically by you through integrity-based human influence. I like to call it guerrilla-style training, and being able to go from hello to yes, and being able to share this information with anyone that works with us and how it could translate into their business and what they do. And while at the same time, people should work with me, because at the end of the day, I am sober one day at a time, 23 plus years. And I'm also part of a unique group of world-class geniuses that help free children from sexual slavery.
Amazing. Love it, Rob. So we're going to come back with an access to that. Thank you. For you, why do you do all this? 30 seconds. Why do you do all this? You're working hard. You're like all over the place like a maniac. Why?
You know, every morning I get on my knees and I give thanks to God, and I ask for guidance on what I should do every day. And every day starts with my relationship with my higher power. I then off of that pivot to the real superhero, which I've always known this, but really seeing it now being at home, is my wife, Janice. She is just unbelievable. She is my Wonder Woman, and what she does with our kids is amazing, as she's, making sure that they're doing their work every day, and she's feeding and preparing food for the next 2 weeks, and it was really ahead of what's happening right now. So when it comes to my relationship with God, my family, my community, my friends, my clients, and my desire and purpose to help other people achieve sobriety through the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous, this is why I do what I do.
Yeah. And what made me fall in love with Rob and solidify my love for him is he and I, because I had another client that wanted to be in a casino, and Rob and I are not casino guys. We accompanied the client to a casino for a night. In fact, I was to Las Vegas 6 times and didn't set foot in a casino over the case I was handling, just to put that in context. Not judging, just sharing. So Rob and I went this night, and we were like not into gambling. And there was a cover band that I've had play at my Christmas party, the B Street band that played Bruce stuff. I'm like, oh my God, they're there. So Rob and I went to the dance floor, just hang out, like listen to them up close. And Rob's a married man with kids, and people were being extra friendly to us. And that's not my style, and it's certainly not Rob's style. And I remember that night feeling so aligned with him, because he was like respectful and kind and giving no space to anything that was inappropriate that would be disrespectful to his wife, who wasn't even within 100 miles where we were. And I was like, this guy has integrity. He's an amazing husband and father. And this is what it looks like. So Rob's real deal about his family and what he's given and loving. So thank you, Rob. And Rob, what is it that you're most excited about Unblinded?
Unblinded, and let me just give a major shout out to Jared and Adam. I don't get to spend as much quality time with those guys. And when I look at the screen, it says join the Unblinded morning huddle for free. And I look at the Facebook design, and I look at the social media presence, which was never here when we first started doing all this stuff together, Sean. It's really world class. You could see it, you could feel it. It's all connected to websites, and it's really top notch. And, I really believe that when I look at this is that next evolutionary step. You hear the commercial before you get on the call. There's all these things that just didn't exist 6 months, even a year, or even like 3 months ago. And it's amazing to me, all of the tremendous visual work. But I know success leaves clues. And I know the 4 of you and whoever else is involved are always in calls in the morning, and you're getting everything set up. And the preparation is phenomenal. And you can just see it. And I want to give a major shout out to them. What I could say is, anybody that's listening that is not a student yet, I would just drop everything. I would make a phone call today, and I would sign up with these good folks. There's all kinds of different programs that are out there today. There's no doubt, if you fast forward 3 years from today and you look back on where we are, it's going to be a totally different scene. And being here at the ground floor, maybe I was there at the basement, and maybe this is the first floor. I really believe that this is something that's truly going to be felt around the world as time goes on. And when you look at the integrity-based human influence model, the scientific approach on how to go from hello to yes, and to the degree that you work that, the only way you're going to understand that is by being trained by the experts. So once you understand it and once you know the truth, you can't unknow it. So I would be on the phone with these guys and gals today, and I would be taking that next action step without hesitation.
Listen, everybody, this is the one and only Rob Gill. And Rob, with all my heart, thank you. And there's so much more for me to learn, so much more for you to learn, so much more for everybody in this call to learn, and for all of us to do together. Be on the raw reel with Rob and have it an hour. You're going to watch it. There's very few dynamics and people I coach as rawly and openly as I coach Rob. So if you want to see what it looks like inside the gym, and for anybody that has a sports background and knows the Hurleys, as Rob said, Bob Hurley, who's married into Rob's family, or there's a connection married into the family, is literally listed as the greatest high school basketball coach in history. And he ran some insane practices and did insane things, had more Division I players and NBA players than any high school in history, including his own son. And that's what it looks like when Rob and I go at it. So that raw reel is going to have raw, real insanity. And we laugh, we get a little aggressive, we get a little crazy, And it's like, the most intense high level insanity. So if you want to see if you're open and ready for true ego subjugation, you can see what it looks like when I do it with Michael Smikin, with Rob Gill, people that given me permission to go full throttle, like basketballs being thrown at people's heads, and the whole deal, and in love, in acceleration. The way I was coached by my athletic coaches at Emerson High School, that's what it looks like. And when you see the energy, it's interesting, and Rob knows this, when you see the energy I bring and the lightning bolt, some of those things, I heard a couple of times like, oh yeah, like this is like so-and-so and such and such. And let me just remind everybody of this. I was yelling and screaming. I was being yelled at and screamed at as a 14-year-old on the grad field at Emerson High School by Coach Dennis Slazak, who was challenging every part of my beingness in the most Zeus-like intensity and fire. Listen to AC/DC, Badlands by Bruce Springsteen, Guns N' Roses, like that stuff was happening in my world long before I heard of the world of personal development. My personal development was on the athletics field as an Emerson Cavo in the 1980s. And I was wrestling for Stan Woods, the #1 wrestling coach in the history of the state of New Jersey, #1 winningest coach in the history of the state of New Jersey. Look him up.
Awesome. So listen, brother, thank you so much for everything that you've done today. As Sean mentioned, we do have our real raw sales role play happen at 3:00. And Sean usually, he has like a 50% chance of making someone cry. And the dynamics between Rob and Sean, it's like a 90-10. And it's all in love. It's hilarious. Rob has been proof of what ego subjugation has looked like. And he's also been a friend and a mentor and a guide to me during this movement. So brother, I love you. I want to give some love.
I love you too, Fernando. And I just want to give a shout out to you, to Adam, and to Jared. And I think the evolution, if I look at Apple 1, which was in the garage, you guys are no doubt Apple 2, working your way to the Macintosh long before we get to the iPad and iPhone. But I see it, I could feel it. And you guys have done a tremendous job. You really have. Success leaves clues, and there's no graduation. TIME, time, things I must earn.
Yes.
And it's a daily grind, and that's what it's all about. And consistency makes the champion, and that's what I see.
Brother, I appreciate you.
So now is the time you take action. What is the one thing you will do today that will help you make more money in less time and with more magic? All you need to do is take one action right now and then head over to our private Facebook community at www.unblindedmovement.com to share your big win for the day. If you share today's win and any questions you may have for us, along with a 5-star review, so we can reach more like-minded people like yourselves, your questions will be answered and maybe even your win will be live on the podcast. And if you have not already subscribed, please visit www.unblindedhuddle.com to be part of our live studio audience for each morning huddle so that we can help you see what you don't see about the fun, excitement, and magic of exponentially growing your sales.